What's up everyone, welcome back to another stream. It's already Wednesday, so halfway through of the week, it's already gone, and what a move. Another big day in the market, even though we didn't really have any news related to the dollar. The market moved, and it moved quite a lot. Straight away in the morning we had a big momentum to the upside on the dollar, moved to the downside on the euro, on the pound. Basically everything related to the dollar moved to the downside. Then we had interest rate decision in Canada. No surprise whatsoever. It was already priced in. Price created the normal volatility, spike here and there, but then didn't really move that much. And then we had the big sell-off on the US indices. Basically spent all day moving to the downside quite aggressively during the US session, and it still continues. At least last time I checked, it still continues to move to the downside. Something that we were already anticipating, in the sense that we saw already some breaks of structure, that it was something that we paid attention in terms of looking for sales, and now it's just confirmed. Apparently, just now as we speak, dollar is moving to downside quite aggressively. It's interesting to see if this high is going to actually hold price or not. Euro dollar is reacting from an interesting level as well already. So we'll see what's going to happen in here. So in terms of tomorrow's news, finally we have some news in the US and also across the world. Like we have the manufacturing and services PMI in the Eurozone, then in the UK, and then in the US. So that's definitely something that's going to move the market. Like it's something that the economists, central bankers and investors are paying attention to, especially the manufacturing as well in the Eurozone, which has been quite weak, especially in Germany as well, at around 40.7, at least 40.6, expected to be 40.7. Like, so again, this needs to improve, otherwise it's going to be a big problem for the Eurozone and Germany in particular, and we may start seeing some signs of potential struggle in the economy, which can lead into a recession mode in the Eurozone. Now services again stay slightly above the 50 mark. Again, above 50 means expansion, below 50 means contraction. So that's something that we need to pay attention in here. Again, in the UK, it doesn't look bad at this point, both of them, and in the US also manufacturing below 47, with services quite strong at 50, at 55. Of course, we do have also the unemployment claims, which comes out always on Thursday. 2 weeks ago we had quite a spike to the upside at 258, if not mistaken. Last week it was 241, and it's expected to continue to be within this range, 220, 240. So as long as it doesn't surprise to the upside, that could also mean a little bit of a problem or some concerns in here as well. Now, the dollar, right? So again, I've been looking for that move to downside on dollar all day, not all day long, like basically for a few days now, and price continues to move to the upside. Like it broke basically every single level in here, and now it's getting inside this structure, which again, it's another potential level where you can find some selling opportunities. We do have this quasi model in there, these left shoulders, we have the fake count and price basically creating this head. These lows in here never really reacted from the level, all right? So price basically stopped in here. It could go slightly higher, to be honest, but that level is not bad. This level in here never reacted from it. So it's not a bad level, once again, to look for the dollar, or potentially see dollar reacting from here. Now, what we need to pay attention to, right? So when price is moving, just in one direction, like it is like now, in such a bullish momentum, and perhaps we may see a level on the left side that could be reasonable. It could be a level that we could anticipate perhaps price to react from. That doesn't mean that you're going to just blindly trade those levels, all right? That's why it's important to also look at the way price is approaching the level, and also, if you want an extra confirmation, maybe how price may react from the level, and then you can look for the confirmation. Like if price actually is breaking the opposite levels of structure before taking even the trade. Like that's something that eventually I adapted also into my own trading. Instead of just blindly, if I do find a potential level where price can react from, I'm not going to just blindly trade from it. I'll just place a heavy limit in there in this case and just try to short the market, because sometimes that's not the case. Because maybe price actually is going with such a momentum, and maybe the final destination is actually perhaps this highs, or even higher, closer to this, to this level in here. So what can happen is that instead of price actually respecting this level that initially I thought could be a good level to look for a short, potential price is going to do actually the opposite. Alright, it's going to actually use this level that potentially could be a supply, now turning into a demand zone, and the opportunity that it was played out around this structure instead of a short is actually a long opportunity after price breaks the structure. Right, that's why we need to also pay attention to the approach. And if you do pay attention to the approach, then there was actually no need or whatsoever, no reason to actually short the dollar or even to go long on the euro, for example, something that we are also looking in here. Because as you can see, price literally just moving in one direction. It's not really breaking any lows, any kind of structure, and price just moving to the upside. Actually, in here, it's maybe the first time that price may have broken a little bit of a low in there, but where does it react straight away? Basically just fill this range. So if you go then into the lower time frame, you see exactly which demand zone price is reacting. Meanwhile, price goes up, respect, even though this low may have broken that one, it's still within this structure here, and now price is ranging, and that's exactly what you want to look for before a reversal. You want to see price starting to range in here, right? As you can see in here, price didn't really range, it just went the range, just moved a little bit to downside, pause a little bit, and then just continue and keep respecting the lows. But now price is ranging, and when price starts ranging, that means liquidity. It's going to be liquidity below the lows and liquidity above the highs. Right, so now actually what I would like to see in this case, it will be a break below it to start opening the door for price actually to move to the downside, and then finally fake out the highs or just respect whatever structure is created at around these highs that perhaps could work as a sell. But to be honest, I would still prefer to see a slight move above the highs into the structure, into here. Right, into the next supply somewhere around this level. Instead of just pausing here, price could actually go a little bit further up into the next level in there. But somewhere around this level, now that you start having some structure, some range, it's perfect. It's exactly the beginning of the PA that we can anticipate, right? And when you start noticing what kind of patterns your price tends to create before a reversal, you can start actually reverse engineering that pattern in order to give you the confirmation or kind of look for potential trades that you can look for until you eventually have the final reversal, right? So basically that's what you're going to be looking for price to break below these lows and eventually create some kind of PA in here that could lead into a short. Again, could create a new high, or it can just react, from around the structure in here that the price just created right now. Like, it depends on how price actually is going to move, but I think now finally I could see price moving to the downside. From here you may have even a trend line. At this point, one of the targets that you're going to be aiming for is definitely around this structure. All right, you're looking for price to fill all of it. Now, of course, you do have this level, so that one has already been taken. We do have this level in here that perhaps price could still react from, even that level in here as well, to be honest. All right, and then yes, and then price could eventually make all the way the move towards to this low and eventually even go further down. But for now, this is what I'm going to be looking on the dollar index. Looking at the US indices, like what a sell-off. What a sell-off, it doesn't stop. And we are not surprised with this type of a move, right? Because again, we did have that break to the downside in here. We mentioned last week that these lows in here, it looks like that we were about to have one extra high. And when we do create that high, we mentioned that especially after price broke that structure, we mentioned that there is a high probability that price can start moving to the downside. We mentioned two levels in here. One was this one and that one. You can see this, I didn't really react from that level, but now this one reacted, right? Today. It was today? Yesterday night. Right, again, he still even left the other one at the extreme, but now it just literally turned in here. He broke the lows one more time and now moved to the downside quite aggressively. No surprise in the sense that we had such a strong compression to the upside that no surprise that the S&P, also Nasdaq, will just make a strong move to downside, filling out this space and maybe going all the way closer to either that structure or somewhere in here. But that's it. The move to downside is done. Eventually price can retest, of course, can retest even this level or even slightly higher, and perhaps depending on where this low is going to react from, we may have an opportunity to look for new sells in here. But for now, that's a little bit of the move that you're going to be looking for in here on the S&P. That's basically done. Nasdaq as well, right? Respected perfectly that level. We mentioned that this one for us was an engulfed downside. You wanted to see price filling this price. It didn't fill him initially, which is perfect because it just created a higher risk reward now that price retraces all the way back to the extreme. And then today it was just a full sell-off. To be honest, I was looking slightly higher in here, and not exactly where price reacted from. I was looking slightly higher and price never really got there, and then kind of I missed all this move. But good pay with the during the US in the US Open, price basically breaks this low, tests that level and moves downside. It didn't even react from here, to be honest. So there's maybe that level again left behind somewhere around this level. These highs in here never reacted from them, so that can also be a potential level in the future to look for a short. Yeah, potentially can be a short in there. But then, there you go. Now it's about to fill the range, right? It's literally what we have been waiting for. Fill the range, go and react from this level with still the potential to go further down, because this is already a breakover level. Like, we can actually even create new lows in there. But for now, I'm expecting some reaction from that level. Dow Jones, same story. So again, we had already that engulf down. We mentioned, we talked about it, but price initially respected a little bit this demand zone and then just moved to downside as well, basically respecting a little bit of this previous level and now moving all the way, basically filling out this compression as well. And the next step is there or even in here. All right, so somewhere in here or somewhere in there, we could see some reaction. I'm talking about somewhere around this level. DAX, that's another one that we mentioned, to break to the downside, to see more sales pressure and price just reacting. Like, again, where price eventually retraces to, that could be a few levels. Like, it could even go somewhere in here, which price at this point didn't even react to there, or a little bit higher. But at this point, he just kept respecting these highs and it keeps moving to the downside. Again, we have this level in here that's still fresh. Price eventually can't go closer to that zone. All right, yeah, maybe that can be a little bit of the target, and then eventually can even continue to move further down to see if you're going to fill out this level in here. But for now, perhaps we could react a little bit from that structure in there, and then even in here as well, perhaps a little bit of a reaction, and then eventually can even go all the way into the next level. Looking at crypto as well, another sell-off. We mentioned that price broke the lows, which means that you're looking for a continuation to the downside now on BTC and also Ethereum. Again, price didn't even react from that level, just kept respecting this level, now moving to downside. Let's see how price may react now from this first structure in there. Otherwise, price may go all the way and even continue to move a little bit more further down. And then you have Ethereum, which will be a strong compression. This is such a beautiful move. Again, you guys need to study compression. It's such a clear PA that can provide great targets and great moves. Again, strong compression to the upside, move, spiked up, react perfectly from the left side, breaks the low, opens the door for price to make all the way. Like, again, one of the two things, either stops in there or eventually can even go to the next level, basically where price is reacting right now. Right, so that's a beautiful move in here on Ethereum with the potential again to go a little bit down. And as I mentioned several times, I could still even see Ethereum eventually breaking those lows on the left side. But for now, let's play one thing at a time. At the highs, yes, I do like even the levels in there. But usually as well with Ethereum and even with crypto, when we make such a big move to the downside, usually we do go back a little bit up again with basically the same momentum. It happens a little bit also in the US indices, to be honest. Looking at the currency pairs, like the indices, Euro index, it stays within this range, so we are still around this level in here. Looking for price even to break below that low somewhere in there, but euro dollar, or sorry, the euro index kind of remained a little bit with the structure, a little bit with the move to the upside today. And the yen pairs, and especially the yen index as well, finally made all that move to downside and now is reacting from this demand zone. I was even looking for price to potentially fake out that low and come a little bit closer to this level. All right, that's maybe the PA that we're going to have. Perhaps price now is going to kind of create a little bit of a range in here, compression, go up and down, creates a little bit of a range in here, and then eventually could make that it could make that move and that turn. So that could be a little bit of a play in here on the yen index. We'll see if that plays out or not, or if price just wants to go all the way until eventually gets closer to this level in there. All right, so that will be a possibility in here on the yen index. Now, looking at individual currency pairs, we are looking at euro dollar, which again just continue to move to the downside. All right, so again, we had that leg down. We talked yesterday about two levels. Like, either respects these levels and go up, but prices kept respecting the highs. Oh, sorry. Or it would fake out the high, it would fake out these lows and then kind of start reacting from one of these two levels. That level is really good, and this level as well is not bad if euro dollar does want to continue to go a little bit more to the downside. So we'll see what kind of PA we're going to have. Again, this is actually one of the first highs that has been broken in here on the euro dollar, and we even left that level behind. So that's something to bear in mind in here. to see if we're going to have actually good PI around this level, or if the euro dollar does want to break new lows and go a little bit more to downside. Again, price is reacting from here, eventually could even go to the next level in there. Okay, so price basically is reacting from this structure, which is important, an important demand zone that made this move to the upside, and then price never addressed this level, and then you can start having a little bit of other levels in here as well that euro dollar could eventually react from in here. So that's something to bear in mind. Again, one more time, looking for potential longs on the euro dollar and shorts on the dollar index. In this case, also tomorrow with the news straight away in the morning, that's going to be a great catalyst that can affect the euro and the pound, for example. Like, again, I'm not the biggest fan of trading manufacturing and services PMI. All of a sudden there is that big spike, and it starts with the news, the data from France, then German. So there is kind of a little bit of a 15 minutes gap that can create a lot of volatility. So I'm not really sometimes comfortable trading those two news events. But it's something that can provide good opportunities. So we'll see if I do get a good entry before that. Perfect. Otherwise, I may just wait to see what price does and then try to look for another entry. If not even on euro dollar, maybe across another euro pairs. Pound, like, just continues. Like, pound just continues to move to downside in here. It tried to go higher. Again, pound, I mentioned yesterday that price could be reacting from an important zone, and it was a zone where you kind of find a good retest, even though in the bigger picture I also mentioned that price could easily just continue to move a little bit to the further down. And price now at this point didn't really manage to break. I kind of broke a little bit as well, but that's the structure that we created in here, and price never really managed to break that level. Then the respective zone, and all of a sudden, as soon as price starts approaching this low in here, I was looking for price to continue to move to the downside, which again, all of this actually created a great opportunity. It was actually the only trade I took today. It was on euro pound, a long on euro pound, something that we talked about yesterday, and we have been looking for it actually for the last 2 days. And it's actually played out quite nicely. So yes, pound dollar now is approaching this level. I could still see, to be honest. Let me just take a look into this. So price may be reacting from here. I do like the idea actually of price moving a little bit lower, perhaps into the other zone instead of pausing in here. Yeah, I do like that idea potentially for the pound dollar to go a little bit lower instead of just pausing where it is right now. And challenging a little bit of this level. This is basically quasi mode in here as well. So that could be a possibility in here on the pound for price to go a little bit lower. So yeah, let's see if that plays out or not. Let me just cover all of it in here. No. Okay, let's do this again. Something in here. Extend to the left side. Sorry about this, guys. All right, just cover that one in there. So that's something to bear in mind. Again, let's see what kind of move it's going to happen now. Again, it's been moving to the downside. It's compressing as well. Eventually can target all the way these highs in here, and even can go a little bit more to the upside when it turns. I think it's possible, and that's going to be a little bit of the opportunities that I'm going to be looking for tomorrow. Once again, I think the risk reward can be there. If you do get the opportunity to turn, I think that's going to be quite interesting. Is this the low? That's a good question mark. I would like, again, one more low maybe being created in here, and price maybe getting a little bit closer to that level. We are literally kind of 15 pips away from that zone. Euro pound, that's the trade I mentioned. Like, I actually got the entry in here. It was actually a great entry, to be honest. I was a little bit lucky to get that entry, but it was great. And there you go. Like, it moves all the way through. My target is even higher. I'm looking for price even to continue to move a little bit more above this level. Already took some profits out, but there you go. Right, so we're looking for that. We saw the range in here. Initially, I kind of thought price could just continue after faking out that low and continue to the upside. I'm glad that price actually made one last retracement, because that level was still fresh, and price actually went all the way there. Today, we already broke that high first, so that was a clue as well that I was looking for the long. I'll give me confirmation, and somewhere in here we finally got the entry, and price just moved to the upside. Right, so that's a great entry. I'm looking for price actually to feel a little bit more above this highs and getting a little bit closer to that level. We'll see what's going to happen. Hopefully I get one of those trades, and for now it has been great. Sometimes again euro pound just ranges, but today actually moved quite nicely, so I'm happy with it. It was not a trade that I had to spend too much time waiting for price to move. but I'm still looking for price to go slightly higher in here, and that's actually where I'm looking for more of my target. Also, we had this basically left shoulder in there. It was a great trade overall. It's one of my A+ type of setups in here with breaks already to the upside in here as well. So actually, the one thing that maybe I didn't really like or was a bit concerned is that I could still see price eventually moving a little bit lower, but for now, I think the PA it was quite good in this moment in here. And then you move into the Aussie dollar. So yeah, Aussie dollar, there you go. That's actually a really good move. So we finally fake out this low. That's not something that we also kind of mentioned. And now it's reacting from this demand zone. That's actually a really good level in here on the Aussie where price reacted from. Just to take that low into this demand zone. Like perfect move in here. Yeah, that's great to be honest. And now the price can easily now finally turn. I could just take liquidity from below these lows. Also, just moving to downside, not really managing to break any highs. So we'll see now our price may react around this level. That's basically the first structure. You can see our price has been compressing. So when you do have this kind of compression as well on the approach, maybe price is free to just go all the way, and all of a sudden it starts creating a big momentum. So let's see what kind of PI we are going to have around this level. But I do like the idea of looking for longs now. Now that we finally took that low in here on the Aussie, so that's a great level where price is reacting. Let's see if I can do this a bit more in the lower time frame. Yeah, it could be enough. It could be enough to go from here to the upside on the Aussie. New Zealand, that's another one, right? Another one that oh, there you go, finally, right? We have been looking for New Zealand for price to go all the way until this level, and it's finally there, right? Price literally now reaching the targets or the levels that you were looking for just right now, right? So again, it's getting really close. So tomorrow, that's exactly what I'm going to be looking for. I think this level can definitely hold New Zealand and pushing to the upside from here. So that's exactly the type of opportunity that I'm going to be looking for. At least for price to test back into the structure, and it can even go higher than that. All right, it can even go eventually again closer to that level again, or even at least in here. So that's definitely what I'm going to be looking for in here on New Zealand. Now that price is finally reaching that level, we have the other Aussie pairs, and we have Euro Aussie just moving to the upside because of the Aussie dollar moving to the downside. So again, it's a bit in the range in here. I don't really like anything in particular in here. Maybe something at the highs in here, but I'm not really that eager to look for any trades in there. We have Aussie yen, which just turned. I didn't really like again the way price turned, but we do move to downside or to the upside on the yen index. Now the yen pairs also move to downside now later on in this evening. Today, price is approaching this high in here. That's interesting. Most of the yen pairs are reacting from around this structure in here, so that's interesting to see. Let's see if we start breaking some lows in here or not, right? If we at least break below that level and twist to retest this one in here, or if price even starts breaking below that. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of what price has created in here, and that could be a level where that could still be faked out eventually. Dollar yen as well, like it move a bit more to the upside, and it's somewhere around the structure. Again, it's exactly the same type of level in here. Again, I could still see going a little bit more to the upside, to be honest. Not sure if I'm the biggest fan where price paused. Yeah, price went above that high, and it's reacting from here. Okay, at least fake out that high. That's something, but yeah, it could even go higher, and it could even fake out that level as well eventually. In terms of the move in here, again, strong compression to the upside, which can open door for price actually make a full retracement in here. So we'll see. All right, we already created a bit of structure, broke that low. Yeah, we'll see. Could be a short sell opportunity from within these lows. These highs, that could happen as well. Something like that, or price could even fake out the highs one more time before moving to the downside. But yeah, it opens a little bit of the door just where price moved to the upside. Eventually price could go all the way into here, or even into there. Euro yen as well, just turning. All right, again reacted exactly from the same level. If you actually pay attention, that's basically the same structure where price is reacting from. Yeah, it's within this structure in here at the lower edge of that zone, so that's not bad. In here, yeah, we do have that structure, so it's a good level. Again, finally price picking out all these highs. and basically already filling the first target, right? Basically this first space that was available within this structure all the way until there, price just filled that level in here. Again, didn't really pay attention to this one, but this could have been a good entry in here after price broke that low. Yeah, kind of slow move and then kind of a move to downside. Breaking these lows starts opening the door to downside. Is there anything else at the highs in here that you could look for? Another short, perhaps? Perhaps price actually could retrace back into here, to be honest, and look for another short. Yeah, that one as well is nice. Yeah, it could. It could. So that's something to pay attention to. It will be great if it first breaks the lows and then retraces back in here. Right, so it first goes down a little bit more, ranges, breaks the low, and then kind of comes back into here, and then it could make a move like that and finally turn properly all the way closer to this level. So that could be a possibility in here on the euro yen. Pound yen, such as negative move on the pound, sorry, we had pound yen also moving to the downside, and yeah, reacted again from the same structure. Again, could go slightly higher, and it ranged a little bit in here, broke some lows, and then moved to the downside. Nicely done. Already start breaking some lows in there. Now next target, basically we are looking for price to get closer to this level. That's pound yen in here. Again, it could retest one more time, definitely. It could go a little bit in here, or if it wants to fake out all this structure in here, it could as well. But maybe from here, it's still enough to look for price to go. All right, depending again where this low is going to be reacting from. All right, as long as this low is not reacting from a key level, we may have that double top being created in there. Otherwise, price may go a little bit into that zone in here. CAD yen, that's another one that we have. It's pound CAD, sorry, CAD yen. Yeah, CAD yen moved to the upside again, getting a little bit closer to that level. It's exactly the same level where the other yen pairs are reacting from. Apparently that was an important structure, and now moving to the outside even after the interest rate decision in here, basically managing to hold that level, now moving to the downside in here. So let's see how price may react from this previous level in there. And then you have, yeah, we have CAD dollar, right? So dollar CAD, yeah, good reaction from that level that we had. We'll see. I'm not really entirely bearish at this point on the dollar CAD, at least just yet. I could see eventually price fulfilling this level, but yeah, let's see how price may react from here. At this point, at least I want a little bit closer to the highs just to get a better risk reward. Again, that was a level that we talked about even yesterday, already on Sunday. It's a good level after price picking out that level in there, so that's something that we actually were looking for. Yeah, nice reaction from there, and price starting to show some weakness in here as well. So we'll see how price may react from here, and if there's any kind of PI created around this level to look for a short in here that potentially could do and fill out this space, or even all the way until here as well. Right, so that's a possibility in here on the dollar CAD as well. Again, price moving to the outside in here. Looks like that literally the dollar and so on is moving, right? Yeah, there you go. Euro is moving, pound is moving, the dollar is moving to the downside. Euro CAD. Yep, Euro CAD kind of in a range in here. So it made that initial move to the downside, still reacted from that level. We'll see what's going to happen in here on the Euro CAD. I'm not going to really trade in here. We did manage to break a high in here. If price this by any chance has any intention of moving to the upside, actually good reaction from this level. It's a nice pattern, to be honest. But yeah, not really going to trade it at this point. But yeah, it could turn from there, and then you have pound CAD as well. What's happening in here? Pound CAD actually continues to move to the downside, so we'll see how price may react. Actually, it's already reacting from it. Around this structure, it was a left zone in there. Otherwise, it can go lower. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen here on pound CAD. At this point is a bit in the middle. Not really interested. What I can see is literally these ones are turning. Like I bet that also Aussie yen, Aussie dollar is also moving. New Zealand as well must be also basically moving. Yeah, they are literally turning, and the dollar moving to the downside. So there you go. After such a big momentum, now the time for a little bit of a correction in here. Dollar franc Swiss continues to be a little bit within this structure. So Yeah, nice reaction from that level. I was looking for price to go a little bit higher, so that's still my expectation. What I'm going to be hoping for in here is for price actually to go a little bit higher, and then, all right, and then eventually turning, and yeah, something like that could happen. All right, again, it's still respecting kind of this trend line. It did start managing to break lows in here, which makes it interesting. But I would like still to see this dollar franc Swiss to go a little bit more to the upside before actually starting to turn from here. So hopefully that happens in there. So that's nice. And we had gold turning, right? So that we mentioned as well, that potential scenario, we saw the way price was starting to compress quite a lot, that eventually price could easily just fill that space. And there you go. We had actually this level as the next fresh level. Price actually is reacting from it, and then you can even go a little bit more to the downside. At the highs, for sure, there's maybe a few levels in here to potentially look for shorts, but again, because it's all-time highs, it's always a little bit tricky to try to short any kind of double top as all-time highs. So we'll see, right? But finally, we had a little bit of a correction here on gold, and silver as well went all the way to the downside. Really aggressive move. That was something also that we kind of covered in here yesterday. Good reaction from this level, and now price moving to the downside. In here, yeah, I was actually looking for a small fake out before move down. Price kept respecting this level in here. We had already a break of a low in here, so that's a nice sign that price may be close to a turn. And there you go. It's just played out like this, and now eventually price can even go lower. Now that price already broke new low as well, so we'll see how price may react from this previous level. But otherwise can even go lower. Yeah, we'll see. And oil, we had that move to the upside, but now price is a little bit back into the range. Again, I like that price managed to break that structure. And once again, price could react from here, but my favorite would be once again for price to go a little bit closer to those lows before making a move to the upside. Same thing in here on Brent, basically making one last leg down and then pushing to the upside. I'd like to see that happening, and again, price can even go into that structure as well if it wants to. Yeah, it's totally fine with it. Yeah, so that's basically it in terms of what we have in here. Let me just do the normal recap of what we are going to be, of what we just covered and what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow. All right, so let me just zoom in a little bit in here. Yeah, dollar, as you can see, is moving to downside, so we'll see what's going to happen. Okay. All right, so just to recap what we covered in today's live stream. So yesterday I mentioned that I was looking a little bit for sales. Yesterday I mentioned that I was looking for sales on the potential sales on the dollar and longs on the euro and so on, but price just made another strong move to the upside. Okay, dollar continued to move to the upside. It's another strong bullish candle, and the good part is that there was actually no signs to look for that sell. Price just continued to move. There was no confirmation in terms of price action to look for the sell, and now the dollar index is approaching those highs still in here. It's still a good structure that we can look for, but as I mentioned during the stream, even though we may have a good level on the left side that you may be interested to look for shorts or to trade, it doesn't mean that I'm just going to be placing, or that you should be placing a sell limit in there and trade it and just trade it like that. Like, we can follow the approach, we can follow and try to find some confirmations before even taking trade. In this case, there was no confirmation to look for sales. Same thing on euro dollar, no confirmations to look for longs, actually, until we are right now, because now price finally start to create this range. And when you start creating this kind of a range after such a big momentum to the upside, what tends to happen is that now is going to be the moment of creating some liquidity, and this can become, and this PA price action can turn into a reversal pattern. And basically what I'm going to be anticipating in here is a potential break of these lows to start showing indication that you want to go down. Perhaps price can still respect the trend line in here, and then you can fake out the highs or just react from this highs. I'll prefer that tomorrow we could fake out the highs and then move to the downside. Now tomorrow we finally have some news in the US. All right, we have also in Europe, we have manufacturing and services PMI in the Eurozone, UK, and then in the US in the afternoon we also have unemployment claims in the US. In the euro, it's going to be the complete opposite. We finally broke the lows on the euro, and now price is in a new structure, but it's reacting also from an interesting level on the left side. Pound dollar also made a strong move to downside today, which is getting closer to a good level where you can start looking for longs as well. So again, tomorrow I do believe that we may have this move to downside on the dollar and the move to the upside across the other, the same dollar pairs. We are talking about euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, and so on. With this move to downside that we saw across euro and also pound dollar, we actually had a great opportunity on the euro pound, a setup that we talked about yesterday. It was actually a trade that I took from the lows. It played out exactly as predicted, and it for now and so far has been reacting really nicely, like a strong move to the upside. It's getting closer to the final target, a little bit higher than where it is right now. We'll see if that's going to happen or not. Canada, we had interest rate decision, so another 50 basis points. It looks like it was already priced in. Price didn't really move that much, but we are also around an interesting zone to look for sell, so we'll see if that's going to play out or not. And the end pairs turn a little bit now in the evening. We finally had this strong move to downside to get closer to the other structure that we're looking for, and I'm looking for price to have some kind of reaction from this level in here. So I would like to see this yen index moving a little bit more to the downside, which means the other yen pairs to move a little bit more to the upside and to create some kind of price action around this level, potentially for a turn, at least to feel a little bit of that structure in there. And then you have the US indices, which today it was a complete sell-off in here. As you can see, you have minus 1% on the S&P, 1.7 on NASDAQ. All right, basically this is something that we've been looking for since we already had some bearish price action with the break of previous lows in here, and that's exactly how it played out. Like we anticipated that on S&P, on NASDAQ, and also Dow, and even the DAX. Like, so basically all of them, again, we're looking for price to fill this price. Basically it's getting really close to it. It provided a great opportunity by price retracing all the way back to the highs. And then Dow Jones as well, something that we're looking for as well, for price to break. We noticed that price had already broken some structure in there and now making that move. And the same thing in here on the DAX with a little bit more of a room to the downside. Again, even if price goes slightly higher, I could still see more selling pressure in there. Even crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum as well just continue to move to the downside, now having a little bit of a reaction. Ethereum as well filling out that space that you're looking for after breaking that low. Perfect move, and now reacting from the next fresh level that is in there. So yeah, gold and silver finally found some selling pressure. So we had a little bit of a move to the downside across those two across those two assets. That's interesting. Let's see if the seller is actually going to be a little bit more present, of if the buyers are going to be managing to push price to the upside again. And then oil is still around this structure, right? We had that initial move to the upside yesterday. Today kind of is a little bit back into the range. Again, as I mentioned, if price does go back closer to the lows from last week, I'm going to be interested to look for new long opportunities on the oil again. So that's basically it. Tomorrow, once again, I'm looking for sales. I think price now with this range, especially on dollar index, I think it's going to create really nice, interesting structure, a really nice, interesting price action to potentially look for a short, and the opposite across the other pairs: euro, pound, Aussie, New Zealand, and so on. So that's basically it. Thank you very much, guys. Again, feel free to subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Obrigado. Bye bye. Time to go watch now the Champions League and watch Benfica. Thank you. Bye bye.